Well, welcome to Personal Bankruptcy Canada. This is a place where we talk about financial issues that are affecting Canadians. My name is Wayne Kelly, and today we've got Heidi McAllister joining us. And Heidi is a chartered insolvency and restructuring professional with Bromwich and Smith, and is also a member trustee of Personal Bankruptcy Canada. Heidi, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Hey, listen, today we're going to be talking all about the difficulty that and the warning signs that you do have a financial problem. Obviously, in your industry, you see a lot of people when it's almost too late and you can't really turn things around. So let's talk about maybe some of the major warning signs of financial difficulty. What would those be?
Well, some of the warning signs would be running out of money before payday, maybe not paying our rent and utility bills on time, borrowing from family or friends, certainly getting calls from collection agencies. Some of the other warning signs might be if we're using credit and we're not able to pay the credit cards off in full but just making minimum payments, or we're missing those minimum payments, then those are all good warning signs.
And what do you find it is that most Canadians are having trouble with? I mean, I guess you want to get this taken care of before the creditors start calling you, but if you don't have enough money but yet you have the latest in all technologies, there may be an issue?
There may be. I think what I find is a lot of Canadians may not know where they're spending their money, and it's maybe not keeping that budget of what they have coming into the household and where they're spending it. And I find it's not the big expenses that tend to mess up our budget. It's the little things. It's stopping for the coffees or the breakfast sandwiches that add up over time.
Yeah, and I notice nowadays, I mean, I think this is really telling that you no longer buy things, even buy the monthly payment. It's now buy monthly payments. They've got it down so they can take every cent from your paycheck, can't they?
Pretty much, and it makes it look so much more affordable than it really is, and not taking into consideration, you're right, if it's a bi-monthly payment, people will look at the 10 times a year when they're paying just twice a month as opposed to that extra payment twice a year when we're paying the 3 times in a given month. It adds up.
Let's talk about what happens when your credits companies start coming after you. What do you do in that situation?
Well, when they start coming after you, you can always try to make arrangements with them. I think the important thing is when you are going to make arrangements, know what you can offer them as well. So again, knowing what your budget is. And then maybe start looking into other options that may be able to help you deal with your debt. I mean, if you're looking at your budget going, I just really can't afford to pay these people back in full, then it may be coming to someone like ourselves to deal with your financial concerns.
And actually, you should mention that because I think that's really important. I know this isn't part of what we're supposed to be discussing today, but when you mentioned coming to you, I've learned so much about what a trustee does when it comes to money, because this isn't really something that you want to negotiate on your own, and there isn't a charge. There's a complimentary session to help people out.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's correct. And we are actually licensed by the Government of Canada. All trustees are. And we don't just talk about bankruptcies and proposals, which are the 2 options we're able to help people with. We look at the big picture, and if there's another alternative out there for someone, we will suggest that.
And I think that's important, is that we start looking at the money. If you can't make your ends meet, you have to start, I guess, do you start writing things down? Write down where you're spending the money so you can find out where it's going?
That's what I always suggest. Keep receipts, know where you're spending your money. We always know what's coming into the household, and we know the big expenses, but like I said before, it's the little things, the coffees, the lunches that tend to add up, and we always tend to underestimate.
A side story here. We started tracking just for fun to see where every penny was going, and we'd spent $300 a month just on the coffees and quick lunches, and had no idea. So, yeah, you're not surprised by that.
Nope. No, I hear that quite frequently.
So, do I have options for debt help? I mean, obviously, we're not going to have to deal with this for the rest of our lives. There is help available.
There is, and there's bankruptcies, which is where you're really aren't in a position to pay back the debt, you really have your back up against the wall. There's called a consumer proposal where you have options to make arrangements with your creditors, and that can be done through our office where you're making a set monthly payment over a period of time. There's another option that's called orderly payment of debts, which looks at paying creditors in full over a period of 3 to 4 years. It lowers the interest, so sometimes that makes it attractive to people. And even just making arrangements on your own with creditors, if it's manageable and there's just a few creditors to deal with, you can negotiate yourself.
Okay, and what is your advice for the very first step that people should take if they're watching this video and they're saying, "Oh my goodness, they're looking into our lives, they're talking about our, our situation"? What's one of the first things they should do?
Know your ability of whether or not you're able to make an arrangement with your creditors, and knowing your legal rights. I think talking to someone so you have all the options available to you so you can make an informed decision.
Terrific. Anything final that you would like to mention before we sign off?
Just thinking, just what I've been sort of preaching about, which is no income and expenses. Yeah.
Terrific. Heidi, thank you very much for being on the show today. I appreciate it. That's Heidi McAllister, a chartered insolvency and restructuring professional with Bromwich and Smith. For more information, you can go to our website at personalbankruptcycanada.ca.